for the storm as we're getting a clear look at the Empire State Building as of now, as Winter Storm Juno is making its way to South Ozone Park, Queens. But we are warm and dry within the Aqueduct Studios for this Aqueduct Insider. Maggie Wolfendale and Richard the Migliore along for the ride. Mig, you're set and ready, batten down the hatches?
It sounds like it could be epic. We had great racing. I'm glad it's going to hit during the dark days. Hopefully we'll get things cleaned up in the entire metropolitan area. I mean, bigger than racing, just so that everybody's safe and gets through the storm okay.
Well, despite not having racing here yesterday due to a smaller type storm, there was some good racing down south in Miami at Gulfstream Park. And I think the show of the day, the performance of the day, was definitely Upstart in that Holy Bull.
She was so impressive as we're taking a look at him coming off the turn. Frosted, who was a bit bottled up in behind horses, waited. I think it was a very good learning experience kind of race for him, Maggie. But no doubt about Upstart being the best horse here. And to me, physically, he looks like he's matured. He's a little bit thicker, a little bit bigger, not taller, but maybe filled into himself a little bit.
And reports from people that, had their eye on him in the paddock was that he's also mentally mature. He's a horse who got a bit revved up previously as a 2-year-old, and he was really even keel, and I think that probably helped him. He looked so focused and well within himself in winning this.
He really did. I mean, he just looked extremely professional, was able to get his position going forward into the turn, was a touch keen into the turn, but you had to expect that, a little bit fresh, and he had to be used a little bit by Jose Ortiz to make sure he established that forward position, not get caught too wide. I like the way he finished the deal. And actually, when he hit the front, it looked to me like he maybe lost focus for a second, because that's the earliest he's ever hit the front in any of his races.
Yeah, and that's true. And he picks up 10 points towards those Kentucky Derby earnings for a start within those gates down there at Churchill Downs. Does he possess the kind of running style that is ideal to win a Kentucky Derby?
I actually think he does. And I had this conversation Friday with Rick Violet, who was here before flying down to Florida to saddle him. And one thing he's impressed me with, he's able to make a long, sustained run and/or two distinct moves. Now, if you think about how the Kentucky Derby's won, obviously you have your exceptions, horses like Seattle Slew, who are just fast and they're able to run fast the whole way. Usually the Derby's won by a horse who can make a long, sustained move or make a move to position, idle, and move again. He seems to possess that quality, and right now, he's my early Derby pick.
I think you have to. I mean, he earned the highest speed figure of any prep so far, of any 3-year-olds, with the 105, I believe.
Yes.
And, I mean, just a fast, visually impressive race. And I'm sure we'll be hearing more from Upstart down the road, as he does plan to stay in Florida for the rest of the preps.
Yeah, although Rick did leave the door open that he could ship up for the Gotham, he's just going to see how things play out. He does want 3 preps going to the Derby. He thinks that foundation will bode well for him, and I agree with him. I think the 2 preps thing is maybe just a little light, and it hurts them, not for the Derby necessarily, but going forward to the Preakness and the Belmont.
And not to mention, he is a New York bred. But some other racing going on over this weekend at Gulfstream Park. We saw $2 million purchases make their debuts. We're going to check out Chad Brown and Shadwell's Tap It filly, winning first time out on the turf, Meg.
And here she comes, a gray filly. Surprise, a Tap It that's gray and that wins. That's all they seem to do, the Tap It's. Very professional debut. Was held under restraint early by Javier Castellano. Looked like she might have been a little bit green in the stretch, but when she realized she had a job to do, she put her head down and went and got it done. I'm sure with her pedigree and winning early like this, the $1 million isn't looking too expensive right now.
No, and Ayati, you got to think she actually has a little bit more of a dirt pedigree, so maybe we'll see things on the main track moving forward. But one that dazzled on the Gulfstream main track was Royal Delta's little brother in Kozan here, as we check him out for Todd Pletcher and Javier Castellano.
He was very professional. I mean, now, granted, he had an outside post. He was able to get into the race the right way. Obviously, extremely talented. But, Maggie, they have a problem now. Obviously, he's talented enough to be a horse you'd have to consider for the Derby, but he's got a lot of things going against him. History says horses breaking their maiden this late don't do well in the Triple Crown races, or at least in the Derby. But you think, as much ability as he showed, they have to try it, don't they?
I mean, it harkens back to Verrazano a couple years ago. What do you think, personally, from a rider's standpoint, from riding these prep races? Do you want him to have the miles underneath him like Upstart, or is it okay to have a horse like Kozan going into these preps?
I'm old school. I want to see them have the foundation. I think you can have a beautiful house, but if it's built on a bad foundation, you're going to have problems with it. I think this is a really, really good horse that, if given the proper opportunity, could turn out to be potentially the best 3-year-old, but I think if you rush him into races like the Derby or the preps for the Derby, you're not going to see his full potential.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. And what's interesting, he was a horse that was touted back in Saratoga as one of Todd's, up and coming watch for this 2-year-old, and yet it's taken him this long to get to the races. So that leads me to believe there's a lot more development in there and a lot more ironing out those creases.
Yeah, and you just want to see him get the opportunity to be the very best he can be. Now, 2 years ago, we saw the horse of Wayne Lucas's, Will Take Charge.
Yes.
He wound up being 3-year-old champion. Even though he made it through the Triple Crown, he wasn't good early in the year.
Right.
So there is precedent. Horse doesn't have to run well or run in the Triple Crown to be 3-year-old champion.
I agree with you there, though. We saw it with California Chrome. He was pretty good throughout the entire 2014. Yeah. Well, moving on to today's races here at the Big A, race number 4. It was an allowance optional claimant for the New York bred sprinting, going 6 furlongs. Here's Travis Stone with your call.
Here emerges from the pack and fires out fast to take the lead. Smokeum's Charm seconded outside. Free Mugatu third toward the rail. American Creed and Layla's Jazz on the outside. Mighty One second to last early, and Ground Force is at the back. Up the backstretch run. Brass Pair fleet-footed early, opens up a length and a half. Smokeum's Charm giving chase on the outside in second, with Layla's Jazz 3 wide by the half in third. Free Mugatu is covered up toward the racing fourth. American Creed is right there in the thick of it, running in fifth and only 3 lengths behind after first quarter in 23-1. 2 lengths back to the 2 trailers, Mighty One and Ground Force. Midway round the far turn, Brass Pair opens up. Brass Pair is opened up to lead by 4 outside the quarter pole. Free Mugatu toward the inside. Smokeum's Charms, Layla's Jazz, American Creed. They're all lined up second, third, fourth, and fifth, but they're well behind Brass Pair, who heads for the 8th pole with a 4-length lead. Smokeum's Charm fighting on with Free Mugatu. Mighty One toward the inside, putting in a late bid. Down to the final 16th, it's Brass Pair still with that commanding lead, and Brass Pair is gone. From start to finish, Brass Pair wins by 4 in the end. Smokeum's Charm was second, Free Mugatu and Mighty One.
Brass Pair really confirmed here, Mig, that he was a pretty good claim for Michelle Nevin here, as he comes off of a win in which he posted a 92 speed figure, and easily done this time around as well.
And look at his ears and his demeanor. He runs evil. It doesn't look like he has ears. They're pinned so flat against his head, and he's that determined. Now 3 for 3 in the Michelle Nevin barn, and just a absolutely terror on the inner track right now.
I remember going back to this when this horse tried to make his debut. I mean, they had trouble getting him to the gate. He was a handful. So kudos to Roy Sedlak in kind of getting this horse together. But Michelle, she's deadly first off the claim and moving forward.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame. I mean, Roy did so much to get, like you said, the horse to that point where he was acting better and handling his racing better, and then he loses him. And Michelle, like you said, she improved his form, no doubt. But I think it's, again, we go back to that foundation. He had foundation from Roy Sedlak.
Yes, he did. Well, a horse that has had foundation from the Todd Bletcher barn went off as your favorite in the kind of route version of the 4th race. That was today's 6th race. So once again, Travis Stone will have the call.
And the rough. Bit of a slow start for Towering Moon. Sola Freud also not after that lead. Good to look with a sharp start. Second and toward the inside. Those two heading for the first turn together. Fiona's Hero punching through toward the inside to be third. Joe Mooch is out in 4th. Fiona's Hero is very restive in behind the leaders. Bounced around there 4th and toward the inside. Let us go get the Basil, who settles in 5th on the far outside. Long for the City just ahead of Pax and Terra, who's toward the inside about 5 lengths behind in the initial stages. A break of 3 back to Towering Moon. Heading for the backstretch, Sola Freud, after that good start, is out there setting the pace. Good to look into the bit, seconded outside. And Fiona's Heroes into the bit as well, fighting the rider just a bit toward the inside, racing 4th as Joe Mooch comes up into 3rd. On the far outside, Go Get the Basils in the clear, racing about 3 lengths behind to the half-mile pole. Long for the City is covered up toward the rail. Pax and Terra has been moved outside for the run onto the far turn, 3 lengths back to Towering Moon, but only about 6th or 7th behind. The leaders are tightly packed as they hit the far turn. 48-3 was the half-mile time, so rounding the far turn, Sola Freud, good to look. Joe Joe Mooch, 3 wide on the outside. Go Get the Basil is winding up, and so too is Pax and Terra with a 5-wide blitz on the far outside. Fiona's Hero is also there. Long for the Cities in behind this wall of horses up top. Towering Moon is still trailing as the field. It's the top of the stretch. Solar Freud in front. Pax and Terra coming on the outside. Fighting on is Joe Mooch. Fiona's Hero down toward the rail. Go Get the Basil. Long for the City. Closing 2 furlong to go. Pax and Terra has taken the lead, and Pax and Terra has kicked away. Pax and Terra kicking away in the final 16th. Down to the line, a 4-length winner. Pax and Terra from off the pace. It's tight there for second. Looks like long for the...
Well, this race did not go official without an inquiry into Pax and Terra's win. But, Richie, when they win by, 4 or 5 lengths, does that really bode for a disqualification?
No, I didn't see anything that affected the outcome of the race. I don't think anybody was close to placing, and this horse was decidedly best. When you see a horse circle the field, Maggie, on the inner track the way he did, they are the best. And look at him. He looks tremendous. Look at him gallop back here, head bowed. This is his third win, I should say, from 6 starts on the inner track. And he's found his niche. He likes to make that kind of big outside move.
Yeah, and he is 2 for 2 after coming back off of a layoff for Todd Pletcher. Irad Ortiz was aboard once again, and both of these wins back against New York breds have been impressive for Pax and Terra. But we're going to take our first time out here on Aqueduct Insider on MSG Plus. A lot more racing to come your way, so make sure you stay tuned. Welcome back to Aqueduct Insider. Just to remind everybody, for the foreseeable future, our post times will remain at 1:24 weekdays and then 12:45 for weekends with those 8 race cards during the week. And Richie, a lot of snow coming our way, so we're holding our breath for racing on Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to tell right now. If we get the amount of snow they're talking about, I mean, the entire city might be on lockdown. I mean, it sounds like it could be an epic kind of snow, but you know how these things go, especially when we're close to the water. It could change direction. Maybe it won't be as big as we're anticipating, but I think you should have the bread, the milk, the refrigerator stocked, just in case.
And the toilet paper.
Yeah.
That's where I'll be going after the show. But we got to get back to races as far as this Sunday card is concerned. Race number 7, it was an allowance for the New York bred fillies going the 6 furlong distance. Travis Stone once again.
Good start. Even start as well. From mid-pack, Lady Luciano's racing out after that lead. Court Dancer there on the outside. Second, those two up the backstretch together. Afua comes away in third. My One Love toward the inside. Fourth by 2. Jasmine Gem is now racing fifth. Royal Jest hustled along. Sixth on the outside. Under the Moonlight, seventh toward the rail. The Lost Tigress is eighth, about 9 lengths behind already. 5 lengths back to Nonikani at the back, about 15 behind pace-setting Lady Luciano, who hits the far turn with a 2-length lead after a quarter in 23 and 1/5 seconds. So round the far turn, 3 furlongs to go. Lady Luciano's up top. Court Dancer getting closer. Seconded outside. My One Love set to strike third toward the rail. Jasmine Gem comes off the turn, racing fourth, but only 3 lengths to make up and a quarter mile to go. Lady Luciano trying to hang in there. Here comes Court Dancer now. Court Dancer on the outside puts a nose in front, 3/16 out. From the back of the pack, My One Love and Jasmine Gem trying to muster up final furlong rallies. 1 furlong left. Court Dancer comes away with a 2-length lead. Lady Luciano fighting on. Jasmine Gem, My One Love on the outside, but it is Court Dancer with a 2-length lead to the line, and Court Dancer got it. 2.5 lengths in the end. Jasmine Gem was second, Lady Luciano, and My One Love.
Well, Court Dancer made good on her poor performance last time out with a convincing win this time around for George Weaver.
Yeah, and Irad Ortiz is fun to watch finish, isn't he? He's just so rhythmic, so strong, got a good hand ride, nice left hand. And I was thinking this as they're crossing the wire, Maggie. You have Irad Ortiz winning the race with the 9 Court Dancer. His brother, Jose Ortiz, is second with Jasmine Gem, the 3. How many times this winter do you think they filled out exactas?
Oh, I would say 40% of the time, maybe.
Yeah, it's uncanny. It's almost like you could bet them blind if they're in the same race together and hook them up at exotics and do well that way. I mean, they're just on fire. These kids, and they're fun to watch, both of them. They're just so talented.
They really are. And the trainer, George Weaver, having a great meet as well, hitting well above 20%, and also has a promising 3-year-old and oh gosh, I can't say his name.
Tensador.
Tensador.
Yeah.
I always stumble over it.
I don't. That might not even be perfect, but
no,
close
you got
enough.
it. Heading towards those 3-year-old preps here in New York. Well, our final full race that we'll show here on this Aqueduct Insider was race number 8. It was an allowance optional claimer once again for the New York breds, going the 1 mile 70 distance.
Also out for that inside post. Alkalite is off sharp too, so these two head to that first turn together. With Royal Posse in behind, running in third. Wildland at the Opera went the day well. Testosterone's going to get stuck wide, 4 or 5 wide on the far outside. Into the first turn they go. Saturday Appeal out to be the pacemaker. Alkalite moves second on the outside. Wildland at the Opera settles in third toward the rail. Royal Posse's racing fourth. Testosterone on the far outside in fifth. Went the day well's in the thick of things from sixth. Deceived advancing on the far outside in seventh, and Tequila Hero shuffled back toward the inside in what is a tight pack down the backstretch run. 24-1 was the quarter, 5 furlongs to go. Saturday Appeal continues to set the pace. Alkalite continues to stalk on the outside, running in second. Testosterone pokes up into third. Royal Posse's running in fourth. Deceived is going to get stuck very wide, 5 wide for Deceived onto the far turn. Wild Knight at the Opera saving ground and advancing a couple of spots toward the rail. Went the day well, and Tequila Hero at the back as the field rounds the far turn. Alkalite coming after Saturday Appeal. Testosterone is revving up 3 wide of the outside third. Deceives wide trip continues in fourth. Royal Posse's in behind in fifth. Wild Knight at the Opera had to stop toward the inside sixth. Went the day well is forging up on through, coming on to be third as the field is to top of the stretch. Testosterone has taken the lead. Here comes Went the day well on the far outside, and Alkalite is fighting on at the rail. 1 furlong left. Alkalite back in front. Testosterone, Went the day well continuing to close. These 3 16th out. Went the day well on the outside, up to put a nose in front. Testosterone fighting on. Went the day well guts it out. Went the day well the winner over Testosterone. Farther back, Midnight at the Opera, Royal Posse.
Well, horse who, a New York bred, that is, who's had one of the more interesting careers, went the day well for Team Valor and Jimmy Jerkins. We both commented about how well this horse looked before the race.
He was so turned out in the paddock. He looked so good warming up. Just a picture of health. He doesn't look like he's been in New York all winter. His coat was glowing, and he ran to his looks. And you can't always say that, but this time it certainly held true.
And really, he looked great last time, but I really think this sloppy track hindered his chances, and good to see him winning on a fast track. Well, we have 5 other races for your Rapid Fire 5 with Travis Stone.
Field nears the quarter pole. Manhattan Gin down inside with a narrow lead. Casual Elegance, though, right alongside second. These two come off the turn together. Brad's Ruby, the whip, is out back in third. Star Magnolia, the whip, is out in fourth. Top of the stretch now. Manhattan Gin down inside. A narrow lead with a furlong left, but here comes Star Magnolia finding stride on the outside. Star Magnolia coming after Manhattan Gin. In between them, it's Brad's Ruby. Jealous from way behind is flying on the outside down to the line. Star Magnolia is in front. Jealous a final try, but it is on the wire. Star Magnolia, a 2-length winner. It's very tight for second. 9 for now. So off the turn, it's Lagubar with a 3-length lead. Feverish Loot second, and then it's Robert Noble in third. Down to the final furlong. And Lagubar shaken up on that lead and is maintaining a 5-length advantage over Feverish Loot, who's just going to chase Lagubar down to the line. 16th out, and it will be Lagubar, a 6-length winner in the end. Feverish Loot was second. And Robert Noble's looking back on Patriot's Voyage. The lead is dwindling as Vegas No Show continues to gain ground, 3/16ths out. But Patriot's Voyage is holding on to that lead. Vegas No Show is full out, but is still second, furlong out. And Patriot's Voyage has turned back Vegas No Show. Patriot's Voyage is going to go coast to coast. Leads them all the way around the racetrack and is a 2.5, maybe a 3-length winner. Vegas No Show at 1-5. Finishing second. It's another big break back to Built in a Day and Shine on Aaron. They are at least 20, maybe 25 lengths behind Is She Hot, who is just out for a stroll on this Sunday afternoon. Is She Hot is almost a 16th of a mile ahead and is on cruise control down to the wire. Is She Hot is going to canter home tons the best. Second will be Single Malt Female. Sean and Aaron third, built in a day fourth. Third title slam is still fourth. Top of the stretch now, In a Flash has kicked away from the pack and has opened up. It is In a Flash by the 8th pole, now by 3. Precious Franca, Alpha J, title slam, 16th out and down to the line. It will be In a Flash, a 4-length winner. Precious Franca, Alpha J, title slam.
Well, that'll do it for our Rapid Fire 5, as we are going to turn our attention to, well, Richie, we had a lot of New York breds on the card, and we could have picked a handful of them.
Yes.
You know, Brass Pair, Court Dancer, they were all very good. But just for the fact of, well, A, where he was foaled, as you were saying, for our Frost Giant New York bred Standout of the Day, went the day well. He was born at Keene Stud.
He was born at Keene Stud. Frost Giant stands at Keene Stud. Seemed appropriate he would be the Frost Giant New York bred Standout. Dr. Wynn Stevens, who manages Keene Stud, he and I had conversations about him when he was heading to the Derby. And it seems like yesterday he was running in the Kentucky Derby, Maggie. As it turns out, it was 2012. I mean, it's quite a while ago.
And before that, he was in Europe. I mean, this horse has been all around, but we're glad to have him back in the state that he kind of belongs in, if you will, where he was bred. So he is a deserving winner of our Frost Giant Standout of the Day. Well, we had some action in the claim box. We'll check that out right now as we look at Lagubar, David Jacobson in for the $30,000, and Deborah Breed claiming 2. Is She Hot? A huge winner of the 5th, as well as Alpha J.
Must feel good when you've got a claim slip in for a horse that's drawing off by 10, 12, or more. Makes you feel like, wow, I guess I picked the right one.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to hope they have their conditions left. But that will do it for us, and we'll head into the final turn here as the sun has set over Manhattan, and we're heading into today's final turn on Aqueduct Insider. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Aqueduct Insider here at the Big A, South Ozone Park, Queens. We are safe and secure here in the Big A studios. Maggie Wolfendale with Richard Migliore. And Mig, it's the end of the week. It's Sunday, as we always do. We have top performers. Unfortunately, it was only a 3-day race week, but there were some young horses we saw dazzle on the track.
Yeah, we saw a couple horses break their maiden that were quite impressive. Here is Lehigh 5 from the Rick Violet stable. Rick does such a great job with his first-time starters. They always look good, and this horse was very professional. Took a lot of heat, Maggie, from the pressure from the outside, and still drew away at will. Race wasn't fast, but I thought it was very professional.
I thought it was too. Like you said, he was in amongst horses, and just when Jose wanted to press the go button, he went. And it was a visually impressive race. But one that was impressive as far as time was concerned was Mike Hushin and John Nairud's final chapter.
Yeah, and to have Mr. Nairud win a race with a horse that he bred, the final horse that he bred, hence the name Final Chapter, I think is just a wonderful thing. He's been such a great ambassador for our sport, a great horse trainer, a visionary, one of the founders of the Breeders' Cup. And Maggie, as good as his buyer figure was, Final Chapter, I feel like he could have went faster. He looked like he was throttled down pretty much the last part. Yeah,
Manny Franco tapped him once on the shoulder, but never really moved. And this horse, I mean, just even from his first race to his second race, really blossomed. I mean, he did get a bit of a makeover. He added blinkers, he added Lasix, but still that strength had improved vastly.
Yeah, his body, he just looked like he kind of puffed up, and he looked so solid. And even visually, when he was running, I said, wow, this horse really changed from his first start to his second start. Michael Hushin's the kind of trainer, though, that his horses continually improve.
Yeah, he tends to do that. So looking forward to what these young New York breds have in store for us. But 2 young guys that seem to control the riding colony here are the Ortiz boys, and they're going to share the spotlight as far as our hot jockey is concerned. Jose pulling in 4 wins over this 3-day race week.
Yeah, and Jose Ortiz and I Ride Ortiz is so hot, Maggie. They were scheduled to ride in Florida yesterday. And they canceled the races here, so they didn't even miss anything here. That's how good they're going. And they both had good days down there. Obviously, Jose winning with Upstart, and his brother Irad winning the Forward Gal, I think, a race later. So, they're making impact at this point on a national level.
They really are, and I saw Jose posted a picture to Facebook that they're both smiling in their first-class seats on the plane, like very happy. I think was the tagline there. But Irad, he pulled in 5 wins over this week, and as you said, winning the Wolfendale with Bird at the wire.
Yeah, I can't say enough about the two of them. It's obvious they love what they're doing, and they're very good at what they do. And although I think I could have won on the one we just watched. I mean, that's how Jeff Philly won.
You and me both, with an extra 20 pounds on her back with me up there. But the thing I love most about the Ortiz boys is also, as you said, they love what they're doing, but they love their horses too, and they really care about how each horse is doing. They like to come in and work them in the morning. As we'll check out the leaderboard there, Jose still riding atop there with 11 wins over Manny Franco.
Yeah, and Manny Franco's another rider we shouldn't forget in this conversation. The 3 of them are friends, and they're young, and they're talented, and lucky for us, we're going to have them for a long time to come.
Yes, looking forward to watching them continue success here at the Big A. But our hot trainer of the week has to be the Holy Bull winner in Rick Violet. It just kind of speaks to the work that he does with his young horses.
Absolutely, and it was on display with his first-time start at Lehigh 5, and certainly with his job bringing Upstart back for his 3-year-old debut so successfully. And Rick was here Friday and flew out to get down there for Upstart. So he's going back and forth, and that takes a lot out of somebody. But I guess it's a lot easier when you've got these kind of horses.
And not to mention, he serves as the 9th president. He's going on now his 7th year in doing so. He's a very busy guy, and I mean, you just think back to, he's had so many first-time out winners. Deficit Hawk, who was supposed to run here yesterday, would have been the favorite for that race, which is brought back for Friday. So he's just so deadly with these young 2- and 3-year-olds. As David Jacobson has pulled away a bit from Linda Rice, and 2 ladies occupying the 2nd and 3rd positions.
Yeah, making an impact, and a lot of people on that leaderboard that are actually doing really well percentage-wise, and we've got a long way to go. Yeah, I mean, it's not a sprint.
Yeah, it is. And do we have a handicapping insider? No handicapping insider. We are going to leave it there and wish everybody a wintry weekend, as we hope to see you guys sometime next week. Thanks for tuning in to Aqueduct Insider. Have a good night, everyone.